I have had several conversations with random women at a bar or club where we start chatting, but about 5 minutes in, they ask me to buy them a drink. Does this usually indicate genuine interest, or are they just looking for a free beverage? Story 1. Buy me the first drink, then I will buy you the next two. That will cut through the nonsense relatively quickly. If they just want a free drink, they say no. If they want to stick around, they say yes. Story 2. I worked in the bar industry. I heard these women talk. They use dating sites for dinners. They bar crawl for free drinks. They hang out at the local bike shop for a free used bike. They go to event parties to get a ride and a ticket. I heard one woman tell another, I'm on 30 of 30. She was going on a date a night for 30 days. Story 3. If someone initiates contact by asking you to buy them a drink, the interaction is purely transactional. The woman may or may not be interested in something more than a drink, but that particular interaction is transactional and is a clumsy way to open up a conversation. As for me, I do not buy a stranger a drink just because they ask. I do not give money to homeless people begging at the side of the road with a sign. Story 4. I remember when I was 18 out at a club dancing, the hottest woman at the bar came up to me, smiling, and started dancing with me. Couldn't believe it. After the song ended, we walked off the dance floor. She was smiling, touching my arm, and seemed really interested in me. I was so flattered and excited. I could see a few of my friends giving me the thumbs up. They were also impressed. I was bursting with pride. We went to the bar, where I bought her a drink. It was $20, very expensive for me at that time, but I accepted it because, a beautiful woman was interested in me. We got our drinks. I suggested going back to the dance floor. She made a disgusted face, then turned around and walked away. I felt humiliated. I think everyone in the bar saw it. My friends all laughed at me. It was horrible. When I got home that night, I actually cried into my pillow. Story 5. If she is asking you to buy, she is interested in the drink, not interested in you. Tell her, you buy the first round and I will buy the next one. Watch her lose interest. Story 6. Say yes, but suggest another location nearby to grab one. If she is not actually interested, she will not go. She may not go anyway, but it is a good way to avoid that question without coming across as a fool or rude. Story 7. Unless you are on a date, you never play that card. She is most likely swindling other people for free drinks. Do not be that person. Story 8. If I don't know them, then I don't because of the chance of them just walking away and ghosting me afterwards. I happily buy drinks for women and men I know and am close to, or friends, but not strangers. I know a lesbian who would pretend to be interested in men at the bar for a few drinks and then walk away. I am not going to let that happen to me. Story 9. Just looking for a free drink. I cannot count how many times I hear girls laughing about how many free drinks they will get in a night. If a girl asked me outright, the answer would be no. Story 10. Laugh out loud. Free drink. I had a girl sit at the bar next to me one time and she did not even say hi. She just asked if I wanted to buy her a drink. I just laughed, finished my drink, and ordered myself another one. Story 11. I knew a girl I would go out to the bars with who only spoke to guys to get free drinks. She even did this to me after the first time when I said no, and I just watched her do it to others. Story 12. In the military, we called those girls buy me a drink girls. Not the most creative name, I know, but once you were wise to the game, you could spot them a mile away. Cringe as hell then, still cringe now. Story 13. I have a friend who is female and brags about never buying drinks on a night out. Other than that, she is a lovely person. She just cannot see an issue with it. Story 14. She wants a free drink. That's some nerve to just boldly ask like that. I've never asked a man to buy me a drink, although men have offered or asked the bartender what I was drinking and had it sent over, probably because they watched too many movies. Story 15. They just want a free drink. If they are interested in you, they will dance with you or directly tell you. They will not ask for drinks. Story 16. She is using you. Women who are truly interested in you do not ask you to buy them things, especially not so soon. Story 17. If they have to ask you for a drink, they are more interested in the drink. This is a drink they either cannot afford or they get a thrill out of the game of getting others to buy them drinks. Either way, that is a very large red flag. If she was interested in you, she would not even notice her drink is empty. Story 18. 99% of the time, they want freebies. Years ago, I was in a club and accidentally bumped into a girl. I apologized and continued walking. She grabbed my arm and said, "Buy me a drink then." She did not say it in a joking way. She said it almost annoyed, as if I owed her something. I laughed and kept walking. Story 19. Normally, the man offers to buy her a drink when there is a connection. When she comes and asks for one, you are just giving her a free drink like all the other patrons. Story 20. Women who ask for free drinks are looking for just that. Free alcohol and validation. The women who are truly interested in you will buy you a drink. Story 21. I have asked a man this before, but only because he repeatedly told other men approaching me to buy me a drink to get lost, essentially. I am pretty shy and considered saying something to be fairly flirtatious and forward. After about an hour of conversation with this man, whom I was genuinely interested in, and the third man coming over asking to buy me a drink, he cut in saying, "No, she is good. She is clearly talking to me," or something similar. I basically said, "Maybe you would like to buy me a drink, or I would like to head over to the bar and order myself something. It really depends on the situation." Story 22. I am not judging, but if a woman asks me to buy her a drink, I assume she is working, and that is a bit of a turn-off. Granted, I live in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. It is just a hazard of the city. Story 23. If you are in a dive bar in the Midwest United States in the middle of nowhere, you have a better chance of getting some action compared to doing the same thing in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, New York City, and other major cities. Story 24. Most women will only ask for a drink if that is all they want. A free drink. If she is genuinely interested, whatever that may be, she will ask you to get a drink with her or even offer to pay. Then it is up to you. This is a staple of clubbing culture. Story 25. If they ask you to buy a drink, most likely it is because they are going to leave you afterward. A woman who is interested in you will genuinely offer to get you a shot or a drink as well. Do not buy any woman drinks in the bar or club. Story 26. The 2 times I did this, right after I bought them a drink, they said they had to go back to their boyfriend or they just left. Asking you to buy them a drink is a sure sign that they are someone you do not want to know, at least in my experience. Story 27. I hate to say it, but most of the time they really want a free drink. Not all women go to get free drinks. However, when they ask for one, it is an indicator of what they are there for. Story 28. Oh, no thanks, but if you want to go grab yourself a drink and meet back up to chat, I am available. Works more often than you would think. Story 29. A lot of the time they just want a free drink. My standard response is always, "How about you buy me a drink, and I will get the next round." Her reaction will tell you if she is interested in you or just wants a free drink. Story 30. Say you will pay the second round. It is what I do, and those looking for a free drink filter themselves out. Be ready to take the heat, though. Story 31. If a woman asks you to buy her a drink, she is not interested in you. I knew girls who went out to clubs with no money because men bought them drinks all night. I prefer to keep my money. Story 32. I gave up on that and said, "How about you get the first round, and we can chat for a bit more?" Genuine interest means she will get you a drink. Freeloaders will not. I have had a few nice drinks with some interesting people this way. I also avoided some difficult situations. Story 33. I think it is a terrible social mistake, a polite way of saying it is very rude, to assume that I want to buy someone a drink just because they started talking to me. I usually respond with, "Sure, if you buy the first round." That is when you learn how genuine their interest really is. In my humble opinion, there is zero loss if they just stop talking to you by then, because they have revealed their true intentions. That is, they were only after a free beverage. But if they continue talking, that is when you know you found someone genuine. On the other hand, if you are in a good mood and it does not bother you, then I do not know, buy them a drink. I like to do that before they make the rude suggestion for you, or to show that I actually appreciate them. But usually it is someone I already know. Buying drinks for strangers in town is not my preference. Although it can buy you a little extra time with someone, I remain doubtful whether it is a good tactic to get a girl to come home with you. Story 34. Spending money on a complete stranger just because I find her attractive never sits right with me. Maybe if we chat and hit it off, I will treat her. But before even knowing her name? Crazy. Story 35. You will never know for sure if someone is flirting with you for free drinks. They will likely be good at flirting and make you feel wonderful, the same feelings you get when having a genuine connection with someone. Your options are limited. You either risk it or you do not. If it gets to the point where someone is asking you to buy them a drink, it is probable they are flirting for free drinks. In my experience, someone truly interested will want to keep hanging out regardless. That said, many women want to be treated like a woman in a movie. It is up to you. Spend the money, take a chance, or do not. You need to learn how to judge the situation. Story 36. My understanding is that the custom of buying someone a drink is not respected anymore. Now, women will happily take the drink and walk away, which is fine in theory. I do not think anyone should feel obligated to talk to someone just because they bought a drink, but that was the norm in the past. Now, it is not. I personally think asking me to buy someone a drink is rude, and I would not want to talk to them anyway. Story 37. Free beverages. I once had a woman say, "You buy me a drink and I will buy you a drink." I bought her drink. Then she left. Such selfish behavior. Story 38. My go-to line is, "Why don't you get the first round and I'll get the second?" This weeds out the girls just trying to catch and release for free drinks. If they actually vibe with you, they will be fine with that option. You could also say, "I don't feel comfortable buying someone a drink until I know them more." Story 39. If they are truly interested, they do not need a drink, especially one that you will be buying for them. Story 40. I was in Singapore for several years. In particular areas, if one went to a bar, a lady might come to join, followed by a couple more. They would seem genuinely interested. The person would ask the bartender for more drinks and select something expensive. The bartender, who is an accomplice, would serve drinks without alcohol. After a few drinks, the women would leave to find another man. This man would receive a huge bill for the drinks. This is a collaboration between these women and the bar. Story 41. I was a bouncer for a few years after the army. Most people just want a drink and do not care about you. You are a mark to them. You might be surprised how many go to a club or bar with the full expectation of not buying a single drink, food, or paying a cover charge for themselves. I have witnessed them teaching each other how to do it, holding contests to see who can get more from a guy. I would say that out of all the times I have seen a woman ask a man to buy her a drink, they only appear to be interested about 2 out of 10 times. Story 42. They want a free drink, but it is also a test to see what you will say. Some women will be put off if you say no, and some will be put off if you say yes. Story 43. Not a man, but I can tell you that as a woman, I have never once in my 42 years asked a man to buy me a drink. I think that's tacky, and I believe these women know that, but they don't care because all they want is a free drink. They justify it by telling themselves the only reason you are buying them a drink is to get in their pants, which is probably true. A woman who actually likes you or doesn't hate men in general will want you to like her and won't ask you to buy her things. She'll let you buy her a drink, but she won't ask. One of many reasons why it's important for men to still be willing to be the ones who approach. It might sound old-fashioned and sexist, and it cannot be applied to every situation, but generally speaking, the type of women who cold approach men are not the type most men want to be in a long-term relationship with. Story 44. I have only ever bought women drinks in bars when I was in Central America and needed someone to practice Spanish with. Story 45. I have been going to bars for a decade now. I could have sworn the whole buying her a drink thing was just a movie cliché. In real life, it's mostly buying drinks for friends, sometimes with random strangers you've been vibing with. Very rarely, I will buy a drink for a girl for flirting reasons, but even that seems much more casual than movies and shows make it out to be, in my opinion. Story 46. buy a stranger a drink, not as your first approach. They will view you differently immediately. Want to see if they really like you? Smile, tell them what you are drinking, and say you will buy the second round. You will have just as much success and not waste your money. Story 47. They are just looking for free drinks. When any woman says this to me, my reply is, you buy me one first, and if we hit it off, I will pay for the first date. Story 48. Are they doing 2-for-1s or something? Usually worked for me. Once I had to actually explain that I am not buying her a drink. Story 49. Does this usually indicate genuine interest? If she were interested, if she wanted you, she would be ingratiating herself to you. She would be buying you a drink. Story 50. Just don't, bro. Never do that. I only buy drinks when I owe her a favor. Edit. If they do ask me, I just act dumb and stupid. Story 51. Not enough information to tell if it is genuine interest. You have to make that decision on your own. At the end of the day, it is your money. If you do not want to buy the drink, do not. Story 52. Do not buy them anything unless you are dating them. Typically, they are just trying to get free drinks from random men. Story 53. Careful, in some parts of the world, it is actually a common scam. When you agree to do it, the girl orders an unlisted but extremely expensive cocktail priced at hundreds of dollars. The bar is involved, sometimes the police as well. It is probably okay in the United States, but never do it in other countries. Story 54. Not at all. She is just using you for free drinks, but at the same time, you have to gauge the context and her behavior. Story 55. When I was young and foolish, I fell for that trick. She ignored me immediately after she got the drink. I have not fallen for it since. Story 56. I don't buy girls I don't know drinks at their request. It is an easy way to get finessed. If I am buying her a drink, it is because I want to, usually because I think there is some connection I want to continue exploring. Story 57. No. The only women whose drinks are paid for by me are my wife and good friends when it is my turn to buy a round. Story 58. If I try to think like a woman, I can come up with a reasoning that it is getting awkward to just sit and talk here. This is a bar, we are supposed to drink. We look foolish being the only ones not drinking. But if I order for us, it makes me feel like his mother. I really like the romanticized trope of a man buying the woman a drink. That is what all the romantic comedies do. I want to live that. Maybe I can also test him and see if he orders us something. That way I know he has money and can provide. If he does not, he is not interested or just not worth my time. However, this mindset relies on many stereotypes and seems unlikely unless the woman is intoxicated or misandrist. Many comments are saying, "Original poster, you are paranoid. She is allowing you into her world by telling you to spend money on her." I disagree. That is outdated thinking. We do not live in the 1980s anymore, and buying things for women in hopes she will allow you in is toxic. I see this as outdated behavior, like randomly going to a woman and asking if you can buy her a drink. It is weird and creepy. Feels pushy. If she wants to keep the conversation going and thinks a drink will help, then she can order either for herself or for you. You are not on a date. No boundaries have been set. It is rude to ask someone to buy you a drink. It is polite to ask if you can buy someone a drink. Story 59. Do not do it. Trust me on this. They do not care about you. They are just trying to get a free drink and then they will leave you alone in the bar or club. Story 60. You need very little pride, self-awareness, and respect to reach the point of never asking anyone to buy you a drink. This is not a gender issue. I have had plenty of inappropriate men ask me to buy them drinks. Save your money for those who are willing to invest in you as well. Story 61. These are the same women who, when you take them out to dinner, will order the lobster, stare into their phones, and ignore you for the entire meal. Story 62. I have known women who approach any man and ask him to buy a drink for the entire group, and they usually do, only to never speak to that person again. I have also known the complete opposite, where they will not accept a free drink unless it is from someone they are interested in. Story 63. Happened to me last weekend. She was very touchy-feely, then proceeded to ask me if I would buy her a drink. I said no. She said, "It's so nice to meet you. Bye now." Story 64. This is the only reasonable response to these women. Story 65. If she is truly interested, she would offer you a free drink instead of asking you to give her one. Story 66. 99% of the time, it is for freebies. Maybe that 1% is when she wants to get drunk with you, but that is impossible with a stranger. Story 67. I used to tell them no, but I would give them the privilege of buying me a drink. If she says no, I would ask what makes her more special than me that she cannot buy me a drink. Story 68. One time I was in a similar situation and asked her, "Will we be making out later tonight?" Freeloaders tend to do this more often, unless there is a flirty vibe instead of a direct demand. Story 69. No woman actually worth the effort is going to make that demand. To clarify, that is not to say they are not interested in your wallet and whatever minimum effort is required to get it out of you. Are they girlfriend material? Far from it. Story 70. If she asks you to buy her a drink within 5 minutes of meeting, she is likely not interested in you, just in scoring a free vodka soda. This happens all the time, especially in club settings. It is a hustle, not flirting. Story 71. I have had girls approach me and ask if I want to buy them a drink, then become belligerent when I said no. Story 72. No, man. Forget that. If you are interested, you do not need a drink. If I am empty and want one myself, and I genuinely see her sticking around actually being interested, I will ask if she wants one too. Also, not some crazy expensive stuff. I am not at those places anyway. Or if she suddenly wants to include a friend of hers. Story 73. I offer to buy a woman a drink after chatting for a little while. I don't think I have ever bought a drink if a woman asked me to buy one since I was 23. Story 74. Remember the Chris Rock character in Iggy's where he asks how much for one rib and then pulls out a stack of hundreds to pay for it? A woman who asks you to buy her a drink in a bar is the female equivalent of that character. Story 75. Women who are not rude often ask in a cute and flirty way while keeping you in the masculine role. I have only said that once, to a man I was having a lot of fun with. My drink was empty, we were at the bar, and I went to buy myself a drink. To show him I was really interested, I asked if he wanted to buy me a drink. I always buy the next one, though. Honestly, I have bought many men drinks when we are at the bar and I am ordering for myself. Story 76. My mom taught me that you always pay your own way, so you are not obligated to another person. In this situation, the girl should already have her own drink or order for herself, and if she stays to have a conversation with you, she is interested. Story 77. They are looking for a free drink. Easiest response. You are cute and all, but I do not buy drinks for people I barely know. That guy over there might be more eager, though. Story 78. Freebie. Sorry to say, but that comes from the experience of not realizing that is the case far too many times. Story 79. These types of women go to the bar and do not pay for a single thing. Do not do it. Equal rights mean equal bills. Story 80. In my younger years, I am 52 now, I have been in numerous flirting scenarios and had great success meeting women in bars and clubs. Not once has a woman ever asked me to buy her a drink. Women who have shown interest in me in the past would do so through their general behavior or by mentioning hanging out again. Story 81. Free drinks are generally available. There is no way I would buy a woman a drink if she asks. I would happily offer to buy her one if we have a good vibe going, though. Story 82. Does this usually indicate genuine interest? Or are they just looking for a free beverage? I will say this. It does not matter as long as you have not decided whether you want to buy anyone a drink or not. Only after that do you need to consider whether she in particular is interested or not. I would say, since she did not make the effort to primarily carry on the conversation by buying a drink herself and sitting down with you, maybe hoping you would later buy a round, she directly asked you to give her something. That indicates that just talking to you alone was not good enough. Maybe she was not there for anything but drinks to begin with. Maybe she was trying to show off to the sisterhood or frenemies how much money she could get spent on her. Or she felt like you made such a bad impression that she wanted at least a drink with the conversation for this to continue. Who knows? Who cares? To me, demanding a drink is just bad manners. I do not want to deal with that. Story 83. No. If they ask, there is a good chance you are about to be scammed when you ask for the bill. Drink is something you should offer yourself if it feels right. Story 84. When I was single before 2020, I met only one woman in London who asked me for things. All the women I met and dated were self-sufficient to the point where I would ask them to buy me a drink as a pickup line. I am not sure if it's because you need to have a good job when you live here, but if a woman asked me to buy a drink and I was interested, I would not mind seeing where it went. Story 85. Likely it is just there for a free drink. Not certain, but I have only encountered a few cases since I do not often talk to strangers at bars. One was upfront and told me she does not talk to men who do not buy drinks for her and her friends. I thanked her for the brief conversation and walked away. The other was someone I sort of knew through another person who was at a bar with me. I ran into them purely by coincidence. She immediately said she was taking me home that night, but first they were going to get men to buy them drinks. So they did, and she did as well. I cannot fault someone for being honest and upfront, at least with me. Story 86. Haha. I am gay, and a friend and I used to go out and tell people we were twins and it was our birthday. We would get drinks all night. Story 87. I would rather the man make the offer. If I do not decline the offer, I am interested. If I do decline, I am not. If that makes sense. Asking sounds desperate. Story 88. Free drink and, most importantly, an ego boost. As a woman who doesn't drink and never has, but even if I did, I would never ask a man to buy me a drink. That is incredibly forward and cringeworthy. I've heard women ask men to buy them drinks when we came to the bar for a girls' night out or whatever. I found myself cringing at the desperation they were showing. On the way home, when their quota of free drinks did not fulfill their ego, they were all crying about why. You better believe I schooled them. I had 3 untouched drinks lined up in front of me that men bought. Mind you, I'm just an average-looking woman, nothing special. I did not view my number of free drinks as a measure of my desirability. I saw them for what they were, tools to lower my inhibitions so one of them could get lucky and take advantage of me. So guys, yes, it's cruel when women use men to get free drinks, but you have to admit, with those drinks, you also have ulterior motives for buying them. So it's a two-way street. That is why the bar is no place for me. I'll stay home and do a few lines of cocaine any day. I know that came out of left field, but the same goes. I'll buy my own drinks so I'm not beholden to some person, just to have a fun evening. Story 89. There was one instance I recall where a woman asked me to buy her a drink. I was sitting next to her, kind of knew her outside the bar, and was reasonably attracted to her. She probably could have guessed. I wasn't sitting next to her to be near her. It just happened that way. She turned to me and said, "Hey, buy me a drink?" Not quite flirty, but not monotone or demanding either. I gave her a look of genuine disgust and said, nope. She shrugged, stood up, pulled money out of her back pocket, walked to the bar, and got herself a beer. I was not sitting there when she returned. We never spoke again. I'm not saying all women who ask are like that, or that I would never buy a woman a drink. It was the way she asked. I was worth one potentially free drink if she bothered to ask, and that was the entirety of my value to her. Story 90. They are working girls. They order top-shelf drinks, receive bottom-shelf ones, and keep part of the difference. The drink is not mixed, and they only drink the top half through a stirring straw because alcohol is denser and stays at the bottom. This usually happens in strip clubs, but sometimes in fancy hotel bars. Story 91. No wonder people in this subreddit lament being single. If you are already 5 to 10 minutes into a good chat and there is a vibe, she is asking you to buy her a drink because she wants to keep you around longer. Some of the posters here are so clueless. Story 92. There are women who are hired by bars or clubs to increase sales. They act interested and ask you to buy them a drink. Women usually do not ask for drinks from people they have just met. Story 93. You're overthinking the drink request. The real takeaway is that she actually engaged with you for 5 minutes. Most women are not going to spend that much time talking to someone they have zero interest in. That said, it is a bit tacky to ask a stranger for a drink, regardless of gender. You came to the bar with your own money. You should buy your own drinks. The expectation that a man should buy a woman a drink just because he is talking to her is entitled and exploitative. She is not owed anything. Story 94. I see that as a sign of her being a drink scab. Someone who just wants guys to buy her a drink all night. Story 95. As a woman, I would never ask a man to buy me a drink. I have offered to get them one because I found them interesting and wanted to continue our conversation. I have seen hustlers, men and women out there too. Story 96. My move is to tell them if they get this drink, I will get the next one. When they tell me no, I ask, why? I look so pretty tonight. Story 97. There is a bar I go to regularly. I was there one night hanging out with a female friend. At some point, my friend saw a guy who is her friend with benefits. For context, this guy is always there with a different pretty girl. I gave her a moment to be with him and was left with the girl he was with. She gave me the doe eyes and said, "Would you buy me a drink?" I laughed, and because I was drunk, I had no filter and spoke my thoughts immediately. I told her, "I'll buy you a drink because I don't care, but only if you stop pretending." Her face changed immediately, and she said, "Buy me a drink then." I did, and we had a chat. She was much nicer this way. Story 98. Most of them have boyfriends or husbands. They are there feeding their addictions and getting attention. Story 99. As long as you are vibing well, I believe it is some sort of interest. If she is asking for a drink after a couple of minutes of talking and you are vibing well, then sure, why not? Her asking for a drink is setting a standard, though in my opinion. Story 100. A friend of mine goes out to drink for free. Rarely does she care about the guy. Can happen, but 99% of the time, it is about drinking high-end alcohol for free and then partying the rest of the evening. You are an ATM to them, absolutely nothing more. You might get some affection as payment. Then they will either like it or leave. Then you know and can get something too. Story 101. Before we started dating, my now wife and her friend would go out drinking without any money between them. They didn't have to ask. Sounds like you are browsing the markdown bin. Story 102. Truthfully, asking to buy someone a drink is not genuine interest. Far from it, it is a way for them to make it look like you are interested so you are willing to spend money on them. Some of the truly captivating conversations you can have with someone will not prompt you to buy them a drink. When you have true chemistry, you will offer before they even ask. Story 103. I have never in my entire life bought a woman a drink or had a woman ask me to buy her one. If they are interested, they are asking for a ride home, not a drink. Story 104. I was with a group of friends when the girls, who happened to be very attractive, said they wanted to go to the bar, but everyone was broke at the time. They just said, "Don't worry about it." They said they would get a guy to buy them a drink and then slyly give it to us. We got plenty drunk and didn't pay a dime. Story 105. Well, apparently most of Reddit is either unaware or very cheap or paranoid based on the comments. If a woman has been talking to you for at least 5 minutes and the conversation is flowing, accept her offer. She is basically inviting you into her world. That is a lot of effort for someone to get a free drink. She obviously likes you. Of course, only do this if you want to get to know her better, which you probably do if you have been talking for a while and the conversation is good. Story 106. It is guaranteed that you will spend money and receive nothing in return, as she looks around the room for better prospects while sipping the drink you bought her and pretending to listen to you. Story 107. Have her do something first, like dance or tell a joke. If she laughs out loud, you have your answer. Story 108. Maybe times have changed, but my father informed me back in 1980, when he took me to my first nude bar, that these women are usually sex workers or they work at the bar. The drinks you pay for usually cost double or triple more than a typical drink. Most of the money goes to the bar. In some cases, the woman only receives a soda, and the rest of the money goes to the bar. Story 109. Think of it as a sales opportunity. Are you interested in talking to them? If so, Then maybe if they give you 30 minutes of their time, you'll buy them a drink. If you think they are attractive, it might be a good way to learn more about them before they inevitably take your drink and walk away. This would weed out those who just want a drink from those who genuinely want to talk and use it as an icebreaker. If they just turn and leave, then let someone else waste their money on them. Win-win. Story 110, usually a free drink. If it was genuine interest, they would offer to buy you a drink. Women pay for the bad boys and players. Story 111. I have no idea. No woman has ever asked me to buy her a drink. But if it ever did happen to me, I would assume she only wants a free drink. Story 112. At the very least, it allows you to engage in conversation. This led to two outcomes for me: either forming a romantic relationship or making a new friend who became a lifelong companion. Both are positive. Story 113. Brother, what the heck? Think about it. If she is really interested in you, she will tell you and show it at every possible opportunity. That person just wants a free drink from you and will most likely do the same thing with a different guy afterward. I worked for my money, and I refused to throw it away like that. Story 114. Free beverage. She is testing you. If you rush to please her, she will instantly lose respect for you. Remember, for women to love you, she must first respect you. You cannot buy your way into respect. Your respect will come from consistency, being strong on your boundaries, and showing strength. More importantly, do not be desperate. No woman wants a man no other woman wants. It will subconsciously be a red flag to her if she believes she is the best you can get. The moment she asks you to buy her a drink, playfully ask what she will do for you. If she says, "Fair enough," then buys her own drink and stays to chat, she is a keeper. Then you can start giving her some rope. Modern women are struggling right now. Men need to stop giving and giving. We are losing out overall. These women have no idea what they bring to a man's life. We could spend hours discussing what we bring. Instead, spend your time, effort, and resources on women who know their value and what they bring to a relationship. Story 115. I would offer to buy one before even starting. If we are talking, then a few euros for a drink for someone else does not bankrupt me any more than the one I am having. Story 116. I buy them a drink, then direct them to my friends because I did not want to interact with them anymore. It has only happened to me once. I did not like it. I am pretty egalitarian. If I want to buy someone a drink, I will do it when I want to, not when someone asks for one. It is so awkward. What do I say? No? Story 117. There is a good chance that she is a sex worker and may request payment for services later. It is advisable to leave immediately. Story 118. It can give you the opportunity to talk and show interest. If you make her laugh, she might like you and want to spend more time relaxing, even see her again. But in and of itself, no. Story 119. Because they are broke, most of them have zero finances, crippling credit card debt, and in life they were handed everything and are used to it. Women live their lives with recruiting difficulties, while we are doing hard mode right from the start. Story 120. The only time a woman asked me to buy her a drink was when I was in the combat zone. I had just turned 18, old enough to drink. They worked for the bar and would order an expensive drink. If you could afford it, you could have sex with them. That was the early 1970s. Story 121. They just want to use you for free drinks. After you buy them one or two, they will ignore you. If you say no, they will insult your manhood or say something demeaning about how they only like men who buy them drinks, have money, or that they are too expensive for you anyway. It is pretty gross and self-centered. That happens about 98% of the time. The other 2% will show genuine interest, and that interaction will be different from just buy me a drink. It will be like they are buying their own drinks, following you around, chatting, wanting to know more about you, and then you offer to buy her a drink. If they just ask for one after a few minutes, it is almost always them trying to use you. Story 122. Free drinks. If they come up to me, I would say, "Sure, let me get my friend, and we will all do shots." Then just walk away and not come back. I avoid club and bar scenes altogether because of this. Modern women are toxic. Story 123. Personally, I go for it. A few dollars to know if she is worth it? Much better than getting rejected. Story 124. You are not getting boyfriend privileges when I just met you. Let's go out sometime, and then I will buy you a drink. Story 125. When my wife and I go out, I do not pay for anything. She gets up from where we are sitting and asks a random man if he will get her a drink. They usually do, and she shares them with me. Story 126. I think there are some women in each camp. I cannot really figure out what you have in front of you without accepting her offer. Story 127. Why is there so much importance placed on the price of a drink? Men or women, you are in a bar. If the atmosphere is not suitable for your attitude or budget, go elsewhere. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.